The moment you step into a room, even before you've spoken a single word, people are already studying you, scanning your face, weighing your tone, judging your pauses, and interpreting your silences. Most people do this unconsciously, guided by hidden biases, fears, insecurities, and desires. But the man we know as Machiavelli, the Renaissance thinker whose ideas on power and human nature still echo through politics, psychology, and strategy today, approached this human tendency with sharp precision. He didn't just observe people passively. He turned it into an exact science, a ruthless yet brilliant form of psychological warfare. To Machiavelli, power was not only about your ability to speak or act with authority, it was about your ability to see through people faster than they could even realize they were being studied. To manipulate someone, you must first understand them. To protect yourself, you must predict them. And to dominate them, you must read them before they know you've already seen through their mask. What Machiavelli knew, and what so many people forget, is that the surface is never the truth. Every smile could be a performance. Every handshake could be a threat. Every compliment could be a subtle test. And so, he created a set of tools, not guesses, 14 powerful psychological tactics designed to instantly read anyone's character, motives, and hidden weaknesses. In this article, we are going to break down each one of these tactics with examples, modern insights, and a seamless exploration of how they apply to everyday interactions, whether you're dealing with friends, business partners, co-workers, leaders, or even enemies. By the end, you won't just know how to watch people, you'll know how to decode them with the kind of clarity that gives you the upper hand in any social situation. So let's begin. Tactic 1. Watch how they treat the invisible. Forget how someone treats you. That's too easy to fake. Instead, Machiavelli taught us to pay attention to how they treat the people they believe don't matter. The waiter, the intern, the security guard, the employee with no authority. Here's why. Power corrupts weak minds silently. When people think they are safe, when they believe there are no consequences for their behavior, that's when they reveal their true nature. A person who treats the powerless with contempt will one day treat you the same way once your value drops. Respect toward the invisible, toward the powerless, is the truest signal of someone's character because there's no incentive to fake it. This is why great leaders often test potential allies in informal situations. They watch how someone behaves outside the spotlight. If kindness only exists in public, it isn't real kindness at all. It's strategy. Tactic 2. Silence them and watch the mask slip. Insecurity thrives in noise. Most people cannot stand silence because silence exposes them. The moment you speak less than them, pause longer than they expect, or deliberately withhold your words, you create pressure. That pressure cracks a mask. People will rush to fill the void. They will overshare, reveal insecurities, expose motives, or try to impress you. Silence is not absence, it's weight. And under the weight of silence, people show you who they are. This is why interviewers, interrogators, and negotiators often use silence as a weapon. It feels uncomfortable, but it works. Try it next time you want to read someone fast. Don't respond right away. Hold eye contact. Let the silence grow. Watch what spills out. Tactic 3. Offer them nothing and see what they do. Most relationships are transactional, even if people don't want to admit it. Machiavelli's brutal third tactic is to give people nothing. No approval, no affection, no benefits. Just your neutral presence. When you offer nothing, you expose their default programming. Do they grow colder? That means their warmth was only a performance or gain. Do they try harder to win you over? That means they crave approval. Do they stay neutral and steady? That means they have emotional control and may be more dangerous than they appear. The less you give, the more they reveal. Because most people don't know how to act without cues. And when you stop feeding them signals, their real self emerges. Tactic 4. Interrupt their control pattern. Some people are masters of performance. They rehearse their charm, their jokes, even their moments of vulnerability. Everything is a polished script designed to manage how you see them. Machiavelli warned us that these people are the hardest to read unless you break their script. How do you do that? By disrupting the rhythm. Ask an unexpected question. Respond to flattery with silence. Interrupt their story when it's building momentum. Change the subject when they least expect it. When their performance is broken, they stumble. And in that stumble, you catch a glimpse of the truth they were hiding. Tactic 5. Test loyalty with small losses. Don't wait for a major betrayal to learn where someone's loyalty lies. Engineer the test yourself. Deny them a small favor. Say no to something they expected. Withhold attention for a short period. Then watch. Do they remain respectful, or do they start criticizing, gossiping, or pulling away? True loyalty is not how someone behaves when you're giving them what they want. It's how they act when they feel denied. The smallest no reveals the largest truth. Tactic 6. Measure their focus, not their words. Words lie. Focus does not. While people are talking, pay attention to what they're actually paying attention to. Do their eyes dart toward powerful people in the room? They crave status. Do they ignore those they perceive as beneath them? They only respect advantage. Do they check their phone while talking to you? You're not their priority. Do they mimic your expressions and posture? They're trying to gain favor. Machiavelli understood that attention is investment. Where people place it tells you everything they value and everything they don't. Tactic 7. Reveal a fake weakness and watch the response. Here's one of the smartest Machiavellian tests. Tell someone a small, untrue weakness about yourself. Something harmless, like, I tend to overthink things, or I'm not always good at confrontation. Now watch. If they exploit it later, mocking you or using it against you, they're opportunistic. If they ignore it, they're either cautious or respectful. If they respond with a real weakness of their own, they're seeking connection. This way, you test their reaction to vulnerability without ever risking anything real. Tactic 8. Make them wait. Entitlement reveals itself in time. If you delay responses, text back late, reschedule, take longer than expected, you'll see someone's true temperament. The entitled grow angry, passive-aggressive, or guilt-tripping. The patient adapt and remain steady. Impatience is a seed of toxicity, because when things stop going their way, they turn. Time exposes temperament. Tactic 9. See who they copy. Everyone imitates someone, consciously or not, and who they copy reveals their hidden ambition. If they mimic the powerful, they crave control. If they mimic the popular, they crave attention. If they mimic the virtuous, they crave moral superiority. The person someone idolizes is the person they secretly wish to become. Once you see who they mirror, you know what they're chasing. When we talk about reading people instantly through Machiavelli's eyes, what we are really talking about is stripping away the illusion that people present to the world and seeing the operating system that controls their decisions, their emotions, their loyalty, and their behavior. Because every person carries within them an invisible code of fears, desires, insecurities, and hidden weaknesses. And once you know how to interpret the signals that code gives off, you can predict not just what someone will say, but how they will act under stress, how they will respond to denial, and how they will treat you when your usefulness to them disappears. Think for a moment about how many times you've been misled by charm, how many times someone's kindness in the beginning fooled you into believing they were genuine, only to discover months later that their politeness was nothing but a costume, a strategy for gain, a performance designed to win your trust before they took what they wanted and moved on. Machiavelli's tactics exist to prevent that blindness, to prevent you from being tricked by the mask. Because while most people react emotionally and take words at face value, the Machiavellian observer looks underneath, studying what is not being said, what flickers in silence, what appears in micro-expressions, and what slips out when someone thinks they are not being watched. Take, for example, the first tactic, watching how someone treats the invisible. Imagine you are out with a group of colleagues, and one of them is being extremely charming and respectful toward you because they want your approval or need your help on a project. But then you notice how they snap at the waiter, dismiss the janitor, or act like an intern's opinion has no value. That single observation is worth more than 100 kind words, because you just saw how they treat people when there is no incentive to pretend. What you are seeing is not a performance. It is a rehearsal for how they will treat you once your value to them diminishes. And if you are paying attention, you know exactly what to expect when the balance of power shifts. Now consider the power of silence. Most people are terrified of silence, not because silence itself is painful, but because silence leaves them naked with their own thoughts. Imagine sitting across from someone who wants to impress you, maybe during a business pitch or even on a date, and instead of filling every gap in the conversation, you allow silence to expand. You nod, you watch, and you wait. Within seconds, most people will begin to overshare, trying desperately to fill the void, and in their attempt to keep your attention, they often reveal their insecurities, their fears, and their true motives. This is what Machiavelli understood. Silence is not empty. Silence is pressure, and under pressure people reveal what they were trying to hide. The tactic of offering nothing is equally ruthless and revealing. Most of us give subtle signals of approval all the time. We smile, we nod, we give affirmations that say, "I like you, I value you." But what happens when you strip all of that away? What happens when you offer no approval, no affection, and no validation, and instead you just remain neutral, detached, unreadable? What happens is that you see how people behave when there is no reward. Do they become cold, irritated, or indifferent? That means they were never genuine, only acting for gain. Do they become more eager, trying harder to win your affection? That means they are driven by insecurity and crave approval. Do they remain steady and consistent, unaffected by your lack of response? That is the mark of someone with emotional discipline. And those people are the most dangerous to underestimate. Think about people who operate with rehearsed scripts. The charming salesperson, the smooth talker at a networking event, or even a manipulative friend who always knows exactly what to say. They practice, they polish, they refine their stories, and to the untrained ear, they sound authentic. But Machiavelli taught us to break the script, to interrupt the rhythm. Because when you pull someone out of their rehearsed performance, the cracks show. Imagine someone showering you with flattery, saying you are brilliant or talented, and instead of smiling or saying thank you, you look at them calmly and respond with suspicion or silence. Watch how they stumble. Watch how their polished routine falters. In that stumble, in that brief break, you see the real person they were trying to hide. Testing loyalty with small losses is another elegant move. Too often people believe they know who is loyal to them because everything seems fine when benefits are flowing, when they are generous, when everyone is winning. But loyalty is not measured in abundance. It is revealed in denial. When you say no to a small favor, when you deny someone the attention they expected, when you withdraw even a minor reward, you get the purest read of their character. Do they stay respectful and patient, or do they sulk, criticize, and begin to gossip behind your back? The smallest no reveals the largest truth, and once you see someone's reaction to loss, you never forget it. Machiavelli also warned us that words are slippery, but focus does not lie. Pay attention to where someone's eyes travel, what interrupts their concentration, what they really give energy to. If they're in a room and constantly glancing toward the most powerful person present, they crave status. If they ignore people they deem unimportant, they only respect advantage. If they cannot put their phone down while you are speaking, you are simply a placeholder to them, not a priority. If they subtly mirror your expressions, your tone, your posture, they are trying to gain favor. Attention is investment, and once you track where people invest their attention, you know their real values. The tactic of planting a fake weakness is pure psychological genius. By telling someone something small and untrue about yourself, a minor flaw, an invented vulnerability, you are not exposing yourself. You are setting a trap. If they later use that weakness against you, mocking it or manipulating it, you instantly know they are opportunistic. If they ignore it completely, you know they are cautious or respectful. And if they respond by sharing a real weakness of their own, that means they crave connection and feel safe. With this single test, you get a clean read without risking anything. Then comes the tactic of making people wait. In today's world of instant messaging and constant stimulation, patience is rare and entitlement is everywhere. Delay your response, take longer than expected, keep them waiting for a reply, and then observe. Entitled people panic, pressure you, become passive-aggressive, or lash out. Patient people remain steady and composed. The truth is that impatience exposes fragility, and those who cannot wait without anger are always the first to turn toxic when things no longer go their way. Every human being copies someone. It might be a powerful leader, a popular celebrity, a moral figure, or even a family member. The person someone imitates, consciously or unconsciously, is the person they secretly wish to become. If they copy the powerful, they crave control. If they copy the popular, they crave attention. If they copy the virtuous, they crave moral superiority. By simply observing who they emulate, you uncover their deepest ambition. Envy is one of the most dangerous signals of all, because envy precedes sabotage. To test for envy, mention something that elevates you. Maybe a success at work, a compliment from someone influential, or a recent opportunity you received, and then watch their face. Do they smile too tightly? Do they quickly change the subject? Do they downplay your achievement? If so, you've seen the flicker of envy, and once you see it, you must never forget it, because envy never disappears. It only waits for a chance to strike. When you ask someone what they love, they can fake it easily, but when you ask what they hate, the mask slips. People usually hate in others what they suppress in themselves. The person who despises arrogance is often secretly arrogant. The one who despises dishonesty is often skilled at lying. The one who despises weakness is usually terrified of being seen as weak. Judgment is often confession in disguise, and by listening carefully to what people condemn, you uncover the traits they are hiding within themselves. Eye contact is power, but what breaks it is truth. Mention money, shame, past failures, or power struggles, and watch where their eyes go. Do they twitch, dart, or drop? The eyes are the exit doors of emotions too powerful to hold, and the moment you see where someone looks away, you know exactly what they fear most. Then come Machiavelli's final two tactics, the ones that are less about observation and more about manipulation, about pulling truth from people by shaping how they see you. The first is to become the mirror they cannot escape. By subtly mirroring someone's posture, tone, or words, you create unconscious recognition, forcing them to see themselves reflected in you. Their reaction reveals what they are hiding. If you mirror their casualness and they suddenly grow intense, they are trying to dominate. If you mirror their confidence and they withdraw, their confidence was fake. If you mirror their insecurity and they mock you, they are defensive and manipulative. The more they shift when they see themselves reflected, the more you know their mask is a performance. And finally, disarm with respect before striking with observation. Everyone expects judgment, so they prepare defenses, excuses, and filters. But when you begin with respect, when you validate, admire, or compliment, their armor falls. Once they feel safe, you ask a question that slices through their mask. You seem incredibly confident. When did you first learn to fake it? You clearly think deeply. What fear usually drives your decisions? Respect softens, and then the sharp question cuts. This is when the truth escapes. Now the deeper layer begins. Reading people is only half of the Machiavellian game. The real power comes from using what you see strategically, because once you know someone's hidden fears, their cravings, their vulnerabilities, you gain silent influence. The one who fears abandonment can be influenced with distance. The one who craves admiration can be steered with subtle disapproval. The one who thrives on control can be neutralized with unpredictability. Machiavelli's brilliance was not just in observing people, but in using what he observed to move the game forward.